What's going on, YouTube fan? It's your boy Tony2times, and we back with another video, man. And tonight I want to bring a real special story to y'all, man. A story that I've been following for a long time. I know the ins and outs of this story. We're going to talk about Rich Porter, a Harlem legend. So let's get into it. Rich was born on July 26, 1965 in Harlem, New York. During his young years, Rich was a natural-born hustler, from bagging groceries to selling grass as early as 12 years old. Rich adapted to the surroundings and the streets at a very young age. With his flashy and bustling style and coming to the streets of Harlem with much respect, stepping his game up the coat, Rich became one of the youngest hustlers in Harlem. Rich rose his way through the ranks, selling coke and creating a team with people like L.A., and was really getting money at a young age. Rich was known to be flamboyant and living a high-profile lifestyle, rumored to have never wearing the same outfit twice and having a fleet of cars with the interior of the cars to match his outfits. By 16, Rich was a neighborhood superstar. With his childhood friend AZ working at the cleaners holding work for him, Rich was on his way to the top, being unstoppable. With a fleet of cars in the garage in Manhattan and a smile that would light up a city block. But everything that comes with the game comes all at once. Rich first got locked up for a shootout. While serving his time, his homeboy AZ left the cleaners and was getting off to the races getting money with a new product they called crack. When Rich came home, he was welcomed back with open arms to the streets of Harlem. AZ set him off right, giving him money, putting him back on his feet, right back where he belonged. Rich had the game right back at his feet. With a hungry hustler joining the crew named Alpo, and a young gunner named Gansta Lou, not to mention a savvy, street-smart businessman, his homie AZ, had become things were looking up for Rich. He was taking care of the hood, his mom, his sister Pat, and his little brother Donell Porter. But as we all know, the streets come with a price. You got stick-up kids, kidnappers, and competition, but Rich never suspected the threat was in his own circle. Rich uncle saw all the fruits of his labor and was plotting. Being a part of the infamous preacher's crew, while going to school one day, Donell was grabbed by a familiar face. Rich mom told Rich his little brother didn't come home from school that day. Rich rushed home to get a call saying, check a McDonald's bathroom. After going to the bathroom, he found his cut-off little brother's finger in a trash can. The kidnappers demanded a large amount of money. During this time, the gang was moving fast, with his right-hand man AZ being shot 9 times in a robbery attempt, his homeboy Alpo in D.C. making moves. Rich was in a sticky situation. But a big-time Harlem kingpin named Fritz came to the rescue, giving Rich some bricks to pay the ransom. Rich approached his homeboy Alpo to help him get rid of the bricks and get his little brother back. But as legend goes, Alpo felt Rich was overcharging him for the bricks, and allegedly him and a D.C. hitter named Big Head Gary met Rich on January 3rd, 1990. Rich was shot several times in the head and in the chest. His body was found the next day on Orchard Beach with $2,239 in his pocket. After Rich's death, the kidnappers realized they were not going to get the ransom money or the bricks. And on January 28th, 1990, 1 mile from where his brother was found, Donell Porter's body was also found. Rest in peace, Donell and Rich Porter. Now, man, I know y'all know about this story. Excuse me. Rich and Donell, you feel me? Rich Porter was basically a superstar in Harlem. You know, he was getting money. He started out at a young age, bagging groceries, to selling hash, to selling weed, you know, just getting his hustle on. He was getting a lot of money, you feel me? Rich was definitely the definition of Harlem. Y'all see how Harlem flamboyant. Y'all see Camron. Y'all see they wear different stuff. They do certain things, you feel me? But at the end of the day, Rich was like one of the co-founders of this style. You know, they was taking trips. These dudes were 16. We got to remember they was kids at the end of the day. You know, when you think about these stories and you hear these stories, you think about Rich Porter, Alpo, AZ, these 15, 16-year-old kids, you know, even though they was living a grown man lifestyle, at the end of the day, they were still young guns. You know, I was watching a Gansta Lou interview. For y'all that don't know who Gansta Lou is, he got left out the paid in full story. Gansta Lou a big part of the puzzle. He was like AZ little mans, you feel me? Like AZ kept Gansta Lou around to basically do his dirty work, you feel me? AZ really wasn't no super street dude. He was a hustler. So he kept people like Gansta Lou around, Alpo, people that'd get their hands dirty if it came time to that. But AZ didn't want to really do that kind of thing. Now, Rich, on the other hand, it was said that he was going to handle his business. If somebody shot at him, he was going to shoot back. I think he actually got locked up for a shootout. You know what I mean? When he caught that time, you know, the Paid in Full movie, it depicted some of this stuff, but at the end of the day, they said a lot of it wasn't real. Some of it was real, but certain events didn't go down that way. But, man, let's look into this story, man. This go to show you, people say if you show love, you get love. Rich was showing love to the streets of Harlem, and it still came back to him. I did a video on the Preacher's Crew. The Preacher's Crew was a kidnapping and extortion crew from New York. They took people to the basement, and they basically tortured them to get money or get whatever they wanted from these guys. So basically, when his little brother got kidnapped, his uncle set the whole thing up. His uncle knew how much money he was making. His uncle knew everything. This his sister brother, you feel me? Like his blood uncle. So when they kidnapped the little boy, Donell Porter, he knew the people. That's why he was comfortable enough to get in the van. And once they kidnapped him, they asked for a crazy amount of money, like $500,000 or something. And anybody in the streets know, just because you getting money, that don't mean you got that kind of money lying around. You got to pay the connects. You got to get things right, you feel me? You can't just go take $500,000 and give it up. Because I'm sure if he had the money, he would have got his little brother back. But like I said, Fritz came to his rescue. You know, a big-time Harlem kingpin. But then Alpo felt played, allegedly. This is what Alpo said on one of his interviews. He said Rich was overcharging him for the bricks. But this the dude that put you on your feet, basically put you in the game all the way for you to even get this money. And he got to eat too, you feel me? That's how the streets go. Anybody know if I'm hustling, you hustling, I'm the connect, you come to me, I might be getting them for 10, but I might sell them to you for 15 because I got to make my money too. That ain't really being cruddy. That's just how the streets go. So, man, you know, Rich, he confided in Alpo. He felt like, man, we can get these bricks off and we can get my little brother back. And Alpo, in my opinion, he wanted to take the work. He wanted to get to work and go back to D.C. and do what he got to do. So, unfortunately, Rich was killed. Then right after that, they found his little brother. Because you got to think, the kidnappers and the people who was trying to get the money, once Rich was dead, they realized they weren't going to get the money. So, rest in peace, I think they went ahead and killed Donell. Now, this sad, man, because both of these dudes was young, you feel me? Like, man, like, Darnell, I think he was like 12, 13 years old. And I ain't sure how old Rich was at the time of his death. I think he was like 20 years old or something like that. But, man, you know, all the cars, all the money, you feel me? Like, it's all cool when you getting that, when you doing that, you know. And just so I could tell y'all and let y'all know, the street's dead at this point. It'll never be nobody like this that was getting money like these dudes. These dudes were 16, 15 getting it because they grew up in an era where crack was new to the streets. Like, the lines was around the corner for people buying this stuff because it was a new product. You see what I'm saying? When I was young, growing up in the projects, I used to see these lines. In Baltimore, they call them T-lines. That's where you line up and people give you a free sample of the product so you can come back later and buy more of the product. But, man, I just wanted to show some respect, and I wanted to bring this story to y'all attention. I ain't realized I ain't do the Rich Porter story yet. You know, I did the Alpo story. I did the real Paid in Full story. Y'all can go to the playlist and check that out. You know what I mean? I'm also going to do the AZ story. You know, I like working on these stories because, for one, I like letting the youth know what the streets really bring. People glorify the money and cars, but this the real streets. This will really go down. This the type stuff go down. They don't love nobody. So you might come up, you might get that money, but look what's going to happen at the end. I guarantee if Rich could have foreseen this or knew this was going to go down, he would have never did this. He probably would have did something completely different, like went to college or something like that. And you got to think about it, man. When you getting that kind of money, you got to have an escape. You got to be ready to get out. AZ was smart enough to get out, but it almost cost him his life. He got shot 9 times. He lost a homeboy. He lost a little brother-in-law, you feel me? Like, it's crazy because at the end of the day, There's somebody he grew up with and looked up to, you know, but he's still around to tell his story. But, man, I just want to encourage the youth, man, or anybody, not just the youth. If you in them streets, man, turn it around. Do something positive, man. Get out that game before it's too late, man. You know, I definitely want to say a big R.I.P. Rich Porter. R.I.P. Donell Porter, man. You feel me? They said Rich was like the dude in Harlem, you know? He was the star of Harlem. They said Harlem ain't been the same since Rich died. And you know, Alpo home, as we all know. So, it's crazy, man. But leave your comments below about this situation. If you're new to the fam, be sure to subscribe. Hit that notification bell for uploads. Family, y'all already know it is. We on that race to 10K, man. I'm working on something real big, so y'all stay tuned. Make sure y'all share these videos, man. Make sure you comment about this situation. If you want to support, check